My name's Kristen, and I own Classic Travel Connection, and many of the people that you see here are advisors with Classic Travel Connection, and we all work together as one team. And we love to not only see the world and travel the world, but we love to help other people do the same. And obviously, you guys know that over the last, I don't know, what is it, 3 months now? Who can even keep up with time at this anymore? But over the last couple of months, we haven't been able to enjoy and see the world. And so we're going to bring the world to you. And several weeks ago, our team had Denise May from, she's with Memorable Costa Rica, and we had her on our one of our biweekly team talks, and she did the best job just kind of just showing us the country and showing us all of the things that you can do in Costa Rica and the activities and the resorts and just the lay of the land. And we thought it would be a great thing to then turn around and show you guys as well. So in the chat, if you will, please just tell who, tell who invited you to come, just so that we know who you're here with. As far as advisors with Classic Travel Connection, we have Leah, and just, you can wave, Leah. And we have Denise Alvarez, and we have Ebony, and we have Wendy, and we have Bonnie, we have Melissa, and we have Debbie. And do we have any? Oh, we have Craig, but Craig is hidden. And we have Alfie. So you guys are here because somebody invited you. So we're so glad you're here. And we do hope that you will enjoy our little escape. It's a good time to escape and get away for a little bit. And you will love Denise. You will love what you see tonight. So I'm super excited that you're all here. So I'm going to mute myself. And then Denise, you go ahead, or you can speak, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
So everybody can hear me okay? I'll go ahead and share.
Perfect.
All righty, so Costa Rica, it is a fantastic destination, super tiny, the size of West Virginia, and location-wise, we're right in between Nicaragua and Panama. So we've got the Pacific to one side, we've got the Caribbean to the other. And the most important thing to know is, although it's a small country, we have quite a bit amount of mountains. So the capital city is San Jose. It's right smack in the middle of the country, and this is what's considered the Central Valley. Now, from here up north, this whole center region of the country is our active volcanoes. So all of our driving distance, although not far as mileage and how you see it on a map, because you have to do the roundabouts and the switchbacks up and over mountains, they can be quite a distance. Just to give you an idea, you can be on the Caribbean coast for breakfast and make it to the Pacific coast by dinner. So it's a very easy thing to get around. The country is, the highways are excellent. We have paved highways. The Pan American runs north to south, and then we've got all of the smaller roads that lead off of the Pan American Highway for the most part. So what I wanted to start with is give you a general idea of what the country has to offer. When you're talking about the Central Valley, your most important part is going to be San Jose. And we've got 2 international airports, which makes it really easy to access. You can fly either into the San Jose International Airport or into the Liberia Airport, which is up in the northwestern part of the country. Now, the only reason that I would prefer one airport over another really depends on what part of the country you're going to, and we can cover that as we go along. But right outside of San Jose, about 90 minutes from the city, is a microclimate that is similar to a cloud forest. And the difference between a cloud forest and a rainforest is where the wildlife is. It's whether it's either up in the canopy of the trees or down on the ground. This particular property is a microclimate similar to a cloud forest, but not officially termed a cloud forest. We only have one in the country, and it's Monteverde, right outside of Arenal, which is where the main volcano is located. But this property is one I love to feature. It's called Peace Lodge. It's only a 90-minute drive from the San Jose International Airport. It's great for families because we've got not only a giant aviary where you can go and have toucans sit on your arm, but the property also has 4 waterfalls on property, great hiking trails. The accommodations range from this being a standard room. All of them have a terrace or a balcony with this amazing view, and you can see the clouds rolling in the afternoon. Because you're at a higher climate, it is cool in the evening, but the rooms all have fireplaces, and you can easily accommodate a family of 4 in the standard room. But what I love about the property is it's a destination in itself. It's a super easy transfer from the point of arrival. You not only have a trout pond that's full of trout so you can go fishing, you've got the walking trails that take you to all of the waterfalls. There's a hummingbird garden, there's a butterfly farm, the bird aviary, and then we also have jungle cats, monkeys, ocelots, you name it. So you could be here for 2 or 3 days and the kids would have a ball. If you're traveling as a couple and want something a little more high-end, but same type of atmosphere in the same general region, is El Silencio. And this is part of Relais and Chateau, so it's definitely more of an upscale experience than what you're going to find at Peace Lodge, and it's more couples oriented. Fantastic horseback riding and stables on property, a gorgeous spa, yoga. You can pretty much find yoga throughout the country. I find it very difficult to find a property that doesn't offer yoga, and now even Pilates has become quite popular. But from this area, you can visit the Poas volcano, which recently reopened because we had some seismic activity a few months ago, as well as coffee plantations. So if you are interested in coffee plantation or even visiting a chocolate farm, we could do that in this area. Also from San Jose, this time of year coming the summer months, in Tortuguero, which is the Caribbean coast, is where you would go to see the turtles. They are primarily going to be there June, July, August, as late as September, and it's almost guaranteed that you will see either the turtles being either laying their eggs or the eggs actually hatching. It's kind of like an Everglades experience. You're going to take a boat from the main river put-in point that takes you through these canals to your lodge. They're all very rustic. There's only one property that has air conditioning. Everything else is just ceiling fans. But experiencing the turtles is really second to none. As you can see, most of the properties are going to be on this stretch of land that has the Caribbean Ocean on one side and the canals on the other. So this is not a beach destination. This is not somewhere you want to swim because there are lots of turtles. There's also going to be lots of sharks. So this is not a beach destination. It is to go and see the turtles pretty much exclusively. If you have a problem with bugs, it's probably not for you. If you have to have air conditioning or television, that might be a challenge as well. So it's definitely for those looking for off the beaten path and wanting to experience the animals. The most popular region in the country is going to be Arenal. The town is called La Fortuna, and this is where the main volcano that everyone comes to see is located. It's no longer spewing lava, but it does rumble, and you will see smoke coming out of it, and it's a perfect cone, so it's just beautiful. It's also on a giant man-made lake that's ideal for kite surfing, windsurfing, kayaking, you name it. The majority of our properties in the area are going to have a volcano view. It's not very common to find too many. It depends on where they're located, but the majority will. This is Arenal Springs. It is a moderate property. What I love is all of the rooms are going to have easy access. So if you have anyone you're traveling with people with mobility issues, it's super easy, ground level, all one story, all have the view, all are going to have this terrace or balcony, and they do have hot springs on property. It really is all about the adventure tours in the hot springs. Another great option is Manoa. It's a little less expensive, but it still has hot springs on site, a swim-up pool bar. So if you want the location but don't want to blow the budget, these are both fantastic options. Also great for families because we could put families of 4 without a problem. This is a brand new property that we love. It's more of an adult property. It's called Amor. It's geared for families that are going to be 13 and over, and that's because they're raised off the ground, kind of like a treehouse type setting. They have both king and queen size beds, and they all have cold water jacuzzis with a beautiful terrace out back. All of the hotels, for the most part, there are just a few exceptions, do not include your breakfast, but usually breakfast is included with most of your stays. This is probably the most popular property in Arenal. It's called Nayara, and it has 3 sections now. This is the adult-only section, so it's 18 and over. They're freestanding bungalows with private plunge pools that are water coming from the thermal baths below the volcano. They also have a new section. Glamping has become all the rage pretty much worldwide, and Costa Rica has 4 properties now that have glamping options. So these units all have a private plunge pool. They're the only category in the property that's going to have the volcano view, and they do have hot springs now. Definitely a more elevated level of glamping. And your hot springs, the most beautiful and popular, are definitely going to be at Tabacon. Tabacon is a moderate to high-end property. It's not going to break the bank, but the property itself is almost a destination in itself. The hot springs are the best in the area. They've been there the longest. They've got an incredible award-winning spa as well, and multiple restaurants, so you don't have to go off property to eat. For our families looking for multi-bedroom units, so if you're a large family traveling with multiple people and you all have to have your own bedroom but want to be in the same property or same unit, this is the Springs Resort and Spa. And this is the only property that has units with more than 2 and 3 bedrooms. They go up to 5 bedrooms, and they can accommodate up to 14 people. The larger units are going to have private plunge pools or at least a small jacuzzi in the unit. Tours from this area are going to include hanging bridges, hiking tours to the local volcanoes, rappelling, the waterfall, the volcano hiking tours, amazing boating tours that are going to give you an opportunity to see tons of animals. And then, of course, all the activities from, we've got a new tour that they're doing where you could basically jump off cliffs into waterfalls. We've got kayaking, all kinds of nature activities as well. From floating trips to whitewater rafting, it really depends on how active you want to be and how sporty you are. We can also include these tours, the rafting and the floating tours, with your transfers. So when we take you from one area, specifically Arenal, to the beach area, you can combine it with a tour and make the most of your time. As I mentioned before, we do have one true cloud forest in Costa Rica, and it's called Monteverde. It is just outside of Arenal. It is about a 3-hour transfer, and what we do is we pick you up at your hotel, we put you in a vehicle and take you to the lake. You board a boat, and you take the boat across the lake to the other side, and then we take you to your hotel. This is for the true bird lover. This is for the true nature lover. These properties are very rustic. They're very simple. And they're not going to have a lot of bells and whistles. This is the newest property in the area, probably the most modern, called Senda. And I skipped one. This is Agudi, great for families because they do have multi-bedrooms. And El Establo is probably the most popular and one I recommend highly for folks traveling with younger kids because it's got an indoor and outdoor pool. So it's great for at the end of the day when you've done all of your activities and you just want to relax. Normally, I wouldn't recommend more than 2 nights here. You just need an early morning in the park and then you're pretty much done, unless, again, you're a hardcore birder. But the Hanging Bridges tours from here and the views are spectacular. You will see everything from monkeys to sloths. If you are in Costa Rica and do not see a monkey or a sloth, something has definitely gone horribly wrong because there is just no way for you to visit this country and not experience them along the way. Now, what I normally would do for a 7-night stay, for example, is if you're coming into either Liberia or San Jose, I always recommend what we call a split stay, spending at least 3 nights in Arenal by the volcano and then ending 4 nights on the beach. We can also do Arenal and Manuel Antonio, which is another beautiful beach area, depending on where you're flying in and out of and what type of accommodations you like. In between the volcano area and the beach area is a very mountainous region called Bagaces. And in this region, we have 2 specific properties that I love. This one is Rio Perdido, and it's up on a mountain that is surrounded by a river. So the gorge, again, this is one of those properties that is the destination itself. Also has a minimum age of 13 because of the location and the type of activities. But it's all about the adrenaline factor. This has got your rappelling and your zip lining, your river tubing, your hanging bridges, and natural thermal baths on site, as well as a championship level mountain biking trail. Another fantastic property that is adult only, so 18 and over, is Origins. So you can see from the view here, you're in between the volcanic region and the beaches. And this is a 6-unit property. It has the only Michelin star rated chef in the country, and it's all about luxury and giving you that wow factor. But you are remote. You're only going to have Wi-Fi in the main area of the property. So if you're looking for a lot of activity, it's not something I would recommend. Now, we had briefly mentioned at the beginning Las Catalinas. This is one of my go-to properties for multi-generational families. So if you've got grandma, grandpa, and then you've got the siblings and grandchildren, everybody can enjoy this property. It's super easily accessible. It is basically, what they've done is built a community that is pedestrian friendly. There are no cars in town. So you can walk everywhere or ride a bicycle or scooters. But what I love is that this property offers what they call flats. They're apartments that'll be from 2 to 4 bedrooms. And they also have freestanding homes that will go up to 8 bedrooms. These are the flats, and all of the units are going to be different. So the decor is very much Restoration Hardware meets Martha Stewart. The kitchens are fully equipped, top of the line appliances. You've got a living room, dining area, and then of course your bedrooms range from 2 to 3. Some of them do have a plunge pool, but the homes are really where this property shines. Every house is different. When a request comes for the property based on the number of bedrooms and obviously what's available, I would send the options to the agents at Classic, and then they would share with you a PDF that gives you not only photographs of the unit, but a breakdown of the bedding in each bedroom, which for me is a huge benefit, because a lot of these units may only be 4 or 5 bedrooms, but one of the bedrooms could be a bunk room, which is great for families traveling with a lot of children. You can have them all in one spot. But the best part of the property is it comes with a house mom, and every morning she comes in and makes breakfast and then cleans up and leaves. So mom actually gets to enjoy the vacation versus being stuck in the kitchen all day. We can stock the fridge prior to arrival. We can have chef services in the evening. We can even do a cooking class with the kids on how to make tortillas. It's really a fun property. Besides the fact that this is the beach it's located on. It's a very mellow bay. So you can kayak, you can paddleboard, you can swim. You cannot surf this beach because it's a lapping waves. They're not going to be surfing waves. Right above this beach area and this town is a couples only, adult only property called Casa Chameleon. For any couple looking for something extraordinary but not too far from the airport, because it's only about an hour from Liberia, this property, this side of the unit, all of the rooms have a sunset view. So you have this 360-degree unobstructed view every evening. All of the units have their own plunge pool, but there is an infinity pool at the bar and main restaurant on property. So it's a great place to go and hang out if you're traveling with other couples. All of the rooms are king bedded, again, adult only, 18 over. The exterior wall are all doors that open up to your private patio and plunge pool with the amazing view. You can go down to Las Catalinas and enjoy the beach. You can enjoy the restaurants. Guests from Las Catalinas can come up to Casa Chameleon as well, but only if they're 18 and over and use the restaurant. Down the street, down the beach from that property is the Westin Playa Conchal. I don't normally feature many all-inclusives for Costa Rica, although we have quite a few. We have Dreams and Secrets, we have Rio Palace and Rio Guanacaste, and we have the Westin, which is the only all-inclusive in the Westin brand. The reason I don't do a ton of all-inclusive in Costa Rica is because I feel that people have an idea of what they're expecting, like Cancun or Punta Cana, and our beaches are not white sand beaches, as you can see here. They're light sand, but it is Pacific coast, so it's darker water, it's colder water, and most importantly, the beaches are all public, meaning we cannot legally serve alcohol on the beach. So if you are used to sitting in your lounge chair and having your pina colada delivered to you by the bar, that's not going to happen in Costa Rica. The majority of the guests you will find are going to be at the swim-up pool bar. The reason I like the Westin, it's been fully renovated. As of November, all the room categories will be ready to go. It is the only all-inclusive with its own golf course, fantastic kids club, and a world-renowned spa. The beach is one of the prettiest in the country, in my opinion. This is Playa Conchal. So as you can see, unlike what you'll find in the Caribbean, it's very natural. The tree line comes down to the sand, which goes right into the water. Now, right down the beach, actually, you can walk from the Westin to the brand new W, Costa Rica. The W brand, if you're familiar with it, it's the same exact property you're going to find worldwide. The difference with this property is it is the only W in the brand that has a kids club. Most of them do not. This has got a great opportunity to not only enjoy the views and the water. It does include breakfast, but it's not an all-inclusive. You do also have access to the golf course since it shares the property with the Westin. Multiple room categories for a hotel that's only about 100 rooms. They think they're secrets and they have about 15 room categories. But what I love about it is that there are a lot of great nooks and crannies where you can hang out and have a drink and just relax. Great spot for girlfriend getaways, for bachelor parties. Again, only an hour from the airport, which is a nice transfer. When you want to be in the middle of it all, if you want to be in closer to a beach town, Tamarindo has everything from a casino to nightlife to gambling. And it is a town that's directly on the beach. But there aren't many hotels that are going to be higher than a budget that are directly on the beach. This is Cala Luna, and it's a small boutique property. They not only have regular hotel rooms, but they also have 2 and 3 bedroom villas with full kitchen. So it's a great option, although not directly on the beach. It's a 10-minute walk or bicycle ride into town. All about sustainability. They have their own little organic garden. The food service, excellent, but again, walking distance to the beach. The alternative to Cala Luna is Capitan Suizo, another great boutique property, but this one is right directly on Tamarindo Beach, and you can walk right into town. So it's easy to go out to eat or enjoy the nightclub and then make your way back to the hotel without any problem. You don't need a taxi or anything. Swimming pool with direct access to the beach. And then as you go further down the Guanacaste coast, we hit Nosara Beach. This is a beach area that is lovingly given the nickname of being a yoga town with a drinking problem. So they have tons of yoga. It's all about surfing. This is Harmony, very small, really sweet boutique property with a couple of 2 and 3 bedroom units as well. It sells out quickly because it's small, but the beach is absolutely beautiful. So that was right in this region in Guanacaste. We were in Tamarindo and we were up in Playa Conchal. I'm going to wrap up the Guanacaste Peninsula with Santa Teresa because we have a brand new property here called Nantipa. These 5 units are all beachfront and they all have a private plunge pool. They're adult only, but the remainder of the property is family friendly. So it's a great spot if you're looking for something natural, off the beaten path, and not where the crowds are going to be. Another great option is Flor Blanca, a little more laid back. It's got townhouse type accommodations where on the first floor you have a little kitchenette and living area, and then the bedrooms are upstairs. So the first floor is not air conditioning, but the bedrooms are. And it's direct beach access. Great little property. And then the southern part of the country is really for those looking for something a little bit different. This is the Whale's Tail. This is south of the Manuel Antonio area. Cura is another small boutique property, adult only. Very romantic, very different for people looking for something a little more exotic. But Osa Peninsula is really what I picture when somebody calls me and asks for an eco lodge. This is a property that sustainability is really what it's all about. They're freestanding bungalows, all with a giant private terrace with outdoor shower. You have a full bathroom in the unit as well, no air conditioning. This is La Barrios, and it's part of the National Geographic Unique Lodges of the World. The views are incredible. This is a great spot for hiking. There's waterfalls, there's deep sea fishing, there's scuba diving, you name it. They also do a really cool back of house tour where you could see exactly how the property runs and how it was built on a sustainability program that they've trained the locals to work on site and really maintain the grounds. They've done a beautiful job. And then there's another member of the National Geographic Unique Lodge of the World is outside of San Jose. It's called the Pequare Lodge. The Pequare River is one of the most famous for rafting. This is where people from around the world come to be trained for whitewater rafting. It's a lodge that is accessed by rafting. It's a level 2-3 raft in and a 3-4 raft out. And for couples as well as families, it is nothing short of spectacular. All of your meals are going to be included. You're a captive audience. You're in the middle of nowhere. But the tour starts when they pick you up in San Jose, transfer you to the river point where they give you your safety instruction, and then you start your rafting. This is the worst room on property. They're all absolutely beautiful with private indoor and outdoor bathrooms. Again, no air conditioning. It's all about sustainability. We actually just got electricity in the units about 2 years ago. Everything was done by candlelight at nighttime. And the units run from your basic garden suite to this is a Linda Vista that has a private plunge pool, to the Jaguar Villa that is this can accommodate 5 adults without a problem, full-size pool, and it's right on the river. So all you hear all night long are the sounds of the river. This is your level 3-4 rafting. At this point in the river, they let you jump out and you can actually float alongside the boat before getting to the next rapid. And it is a minimum of a 2-night stay. I probably would not do more than 3, but I have had honeymooners that have stayed a little bit longer to do a lot of the hiking and the kayaking and the rafting that you could do on site. And then as we wrap it up, again, glamping has become all the rage, it seems like, around the world. This, in my opinion, is the ultimate and most authentic glamping experience in Costa Rica. It is a true Robinson Crusoe adventure. It's a private island. It's called Isla Chiquita. And from the mainland, you take a ferry across the Nicoya Peninsula, and then they come and pick you up in a private launch and bring you to this beautiful island. There are only 8 units, and no, I'm sorry, there are 13 units. They're all safari grade tents, no air conditioning, but they have full electricity. You have a room safe as well as a full bathroom with hot and cold water, running water, a coffee maker, and a ceiling fan. They can be king bedded or two queen. The king bedded rooms have a full size day bed, so you can easily put a family of 3 in here. And they all have this beautiful outdoor deck that has an incredible view out to the water. The highlight to that particular property is the tours that you can do on site include artisanal fishing, snorkeling at Tortuga Island, and you can, as long as it's not a full moon, you can do a tour of the bioluminescence. So it really gives you such a great feel for what the country has to offer. It's all the staff on property is from the area. Most of them, when you go out on the boating tours in the evening, will pass neighbors that they've known their whole lives. So you really feel like you're part of the community when you're there. I could have stayed a lot longer. We only did 2 nights, but it's a great stopping point en route to somewhere else. I don't think I would do more than 2 or 3 nights there. And I've put couples, I've put family members, large and small families, and they've all really enjoyed it because it's such a different and fun experience. It gives you a great feel for the country. And those are the highlights.
So we do have some questions. That was great. Like, have you ever gone through a country that fast? Probably. That was a great highlight of Costa Rica. And if you have not been to Costa Rica, it is a beautiful country and probably one of the most diverse. I mean, if you didn't see how, from each region, how each one is so very different. You have from the mountainous to the beaches to the cloud forest to the rainforest and volcanoes. So it's a very, very cool place. We have a few questions. The first one is the very first region that you talked about outside of San Jose, the El Silencio and those. The average temperature in those places as well as elevation, what are you looking at?
I honestly don't know about elevation. I can make it up, but I really don't know off the top of my head. But as far as the temperatures, so Costa Rica has 2 seasons. There is a dry season and what we very lovingly call the green season. We try not to use the R word if we don't have to, but rain is, it can be an issue in Costa Rica, which is what keeps it so lush and green. So when you're in an area like El Silencio and Peace Lodge, in the evening it can get into the 50s and 60s. So it's still wonderful. For the Costa Ricans, that's very cold. And I think if you've already been in the country and acclimated a bit to the temperature, a light sweatshirt might be necessary, or even really just a light raincoat. But other than that, as Americans, we're not going to have a problem with that weather.
Right, correct. So on that same note, if you had, if someone just randomly came and said, when is the best time to travel to Costa Rica, what would you say?
It depends on what you're looking to do. In my opinion, as far as weather and cost, the month of May and the month of November are fantastic. The green season officially starts in May and runs through the end of November. Historically, September and October are going to be your heaviest rainfall, and that again is going to be in the Central Valley. So San Jose and Arenal, even as far down as, wait, I'm sorry, my timer went up. Even as far south as Manuel Antonio or the Osa Peninsula. But during that during that time that is rainy in that section, in that area, on the Caribbean coast, it'll be super dry. And in the northern region, up in Guanacaste, where most of the beaches are, that is going to be the driest region in the country. We have very little rainfall that time of year.
Another question is, if you had never been to Costa Rica and you have seven nights, and let's say you're a family and you have preteens, young teens, which 2, like, probably you wouldn't do more than 2 regions, correct? So for introduction to the country, what would you suggest for someone with a middle ranged age children?
I would definitely do Arenal. which because they're more than anything because of the amount of activities you can do from there. And also being able to see how lush and green, and if you've never seen a volcano before, it's pretty cool. And then depending on where you're flying in and out of, I love the northern region because it's the driest and I can sail it year round. You have a lot more options. You can do a big giant resort like a JW or a Marriott, or you could do the small boutique properties. I also really like Manuel Antonio. The only challenge with Manuel Antonio is we have very few properties that are directly on the beach. So if you're traveling with younger kids, that can really be a pain in the neck to have to carry all of your stuff to and from, especially when they get tired and grumpy.
Okay, and then surfing.
Surfing, pretty much from Jaco Beach, which is 45 minutes west of San Jose, all the way up the Pacific coast, you're going to find fantastic surfing. Jaco has what they call a great left break. I don't know what that means, but surfers know what that means, and it's supposed to be a good thing.
Excellent. And then I had a question about one of the last, this is my question personally, the one where you raft in and out.
Yes, Paquari.
Sorry. So is there an age, limit to that?
Ideally, they want kids no younger than 12. And that again is because the rafting is a level 2-3 in and a 3-4 out. However, there is a way to get you there by car and tram. There's a little metal tram that actually is pulleyed over the river. It completely defeats the purpose and really takes away from the experience. So I personally don't recommend it. But if I have a larger family that maybe has mostly adult children, but then might have a straggler young kid, and they really want to do it, we'll do it because it is offered. It's just not the most ideal way to do it.
Perfect. And then we have a question about scuba diving.
Scuba diving. Okay, so most people who are certified know that you cannot fly within 24 hours of your international flight home. So any diving you're going to do in any destination, you want to do towards the beginning of your trip so that you don't have that issue towards the end of your trip. Depending on where you're going to go, Cocos Island is probably the most popular and most important diving spot in Costa Rica. Keep in mind, we don't have any reefs, so all of the diving you're going to do is quite deep diving, and it's going to be quite offshore diving, kind of the same thing with our snorkeling. But out of the Cocos Islands and Tortuga Island is where you're going to find the best surfing for sure. And you do want to do it during the dry season, because during the green season, you're going to have a lot of problems with visibility.
Okay. And then does anyone else have, Jeffrey has a question. Are hurricanes an issue, and if so, when and where? Typically hurricane season is May through mid-October. How common are hurricanes in Costa Rica?
Almost non-existent. We're very fortunate that where we're located, we really aren't affected by hurricanes, but we do have earthquakes.
We do. So I was fortunate enough to live in Costa Rica for 1 year when I was a child. I was 8 years old when we lived there, and we lived in San Jose. And I remember probably 3 or 4 earthquakes that we had just being there in that 1 year. So, and like I said, I was a child, so it was very, and they were probably tremors, not necessarily earthquakes, but they definitely made an impact in my memory. Anybody else have questions that they want to ask Denise before we close? All right, I don't see anything, but you guys are more than welcome to ask your CTC advisor any questions. And we work very closely with Denise, and she is obviously, if you cannot tell, an expert in the country and the destination and the resorts. And there's so much for everybody. So it doesn't matter what you like doing or what your interests are. There is something there for you. That's what I love about Costa Rica, is there's something for everyone, for all ages and all interests. But we appreciate you. Yes, it is recorded, and we will make sure, if you want to watch it again, we can definitely get that recording to you. But we appreciate your time. We hope you enjoyed your little escape to Costa Rica tonight. Just get away from all of the other things at home and just work and all of the other things going on. And I enjoyed it. And it's the second time I've seen it in 2 weeks, and I loved it just as much or more the second time. So thank you so much for joining us and for doing that for us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Ciao.